After a little bit of a longer break than expected, we are back and running and in business. Welcome in once again to the WCS North American Qualifiers number 2. We are in the round of 32 with two very colossal players in the North American scene. Of course, starting down here on the left side of good old new map, Catalina LE, we have the one, the only, the Stephen Bonnell. It is Destiny. Having already a pretty good run, I would say. If you could make it to the round of 32, you're not actually doing too bad in these qualifiers. Once again, you only need to reach the quarterfinals, and if you can win in the quarterfinals, you move on to Challenger. The one thing I actually don't know yet is how many spots are going to be giving out to the wildcard qualifier. I know Europe, they did 3 qualifiers, 4 spots, 4 spots, 4 spots, and then during the wildcard qualifier they gave away 6. So with only 2 North American qualifiers, it'll be very interesting to see how the wildcard goes and how many spots are going to be given away, or actually just in general how many are available specifically to these types of qualifiers. I don't know how many invites or what you know, kind of how the system's going to work out specifically for it, but he's going to be playing, of course, against a former Clarity player. Looks like he's on team F3. It is Bails. Bails, definitely one of those up-and-coming players. Really good to see that he found himself a new team. I remember watching him last year a lot, and you could always see him in Clan Wars. You'd see him in these type of qualifiers, tournaments, and performed pretty well, but I feel like he still has yet to get his name really, truly, fully out there. But definitely for players and say commentators and personalities in the North American scene, they probably have a pretty good idea of who he is. PvZ on this map going to be one of those interesting matchups that I think a lot of players are still trying to figure out what's the best way and style to play. For Zergs, if you can reach that point, I really like mutas. Again, lots of airspace. It's very hard, I see, for Protoss players to be able to actually cover 3 base areas if they're not, you know, if they didn't static up too much. For Zergs, you know, really, the map is kind of like your oyster. I think there's still a lot of time to try to figure out how this map really does work out. It's not exactly like a Deadwing or, say, like a Nimbus, where you really expect the type of playstyle. Just very early, expansions. You see very early macro game. Nothing really too crazy out of the ordinary in those. This, though, you could maybe see a little bit of variety. For a Protoss player, I mean, again, you could open up one way or another, again, because of the close distances in terms of working with Immortals, just having to walk them down. It's not exactly the longest maps, not the longest rush distance to walk across, so Immortal Sentry could work on a map such as this. A lot of Protoss have been favoring quick gate expansions into Stargate, so we'll see if he decides to add a Stargate in as well. Really just depends on the comfort level of the player. You know, some players like to, you know, just add quick expansion up to 3 gates and then eventually just take their 3rd base, because if you take a look right here, as long as they have a pretty good idea or the proximity of their opponent, they might be able to just, you know, build a wall right across here, and they'll be absolutely fine, or even connect a wall right through here up into the gases for the 3rd base. So just a little bit of micromanagement and building positioning that could really go a long way for Protoss players. But here we go, just like I was talking about. We see that Stargate getting thrown down right now from Bails. Just due to the map in itself, I want to say Oracle will be the better option here, just to be able to get a little bit of harassment done, but we could see some Phoenixes. A lot of players have been edging towards them as well recently, just because of how effective they can be in containing a Zerg player and keeping his attention on his side of the map. And of course, if you're very good with your, you know, aggression and pressure, and you manage to keep a lot of your Phoenixes alive, you could actually follow up into very heavy gate, Stargate, you know, all in a sense. Very heavy Phoenix Zealots. If you guys watch GSL, you would see that a lot. I know some of the European players are starting to adapt to it little by little. But yeah, we'll see what happens here. Destiny, of course, one of the funnier personalities in the North American scene. You guys can, of course, you know, watch him on his stream. Go to his website, destiny.gg. Does a really cool thing for his subscribers and packages, and just a general pretty good dude. Like Avilo, hashtag, you know, keeps it real. I think Destiny actually, like, you know, actually keeps it real. Really funny dude. Really funny dude. Good to see him on Unfiltered as well, just to watch him. More familiar with his ZVT playstyle in general, where he likes to go a little bit heavier Baneling Muta, in my opinion. Only versus mech, he really goes deeply into Swarm Host. Don't see too much Roach Hydra out of him unless, I don't know, he might pecker, you know, kind of like pop it in here and there. Just really depends on how he really wants to handle this. So we do have Phoenixes out, Zealots are coming out, and this is what we were talking about, a little bit of that Phoenix Zealot aggression that's going to be coming out. It doesn't look like it's going to be to the point of an all-in because we see that Robo behind this, so it does give Bails an opportunity to transition out of this style of play. But what these Phoenixes are doing, they're taking away map presence, they're starting to pick away at Overlord, so tempting to supply block his opponent, because right now really what the Zerg needs to do is have about as much efficient production he could possibly find, and it's going to be tough for him, I feel like, to save this base. Zealots are starting to hack away with the help of the Mothership Core. Another Phoenix joins the battle, and if he just wants to, he could honestly buy himself so much more time just by lifting the Queens up. But with the help of the Lings, I don't know, is he going to have actually enough time to force a cancel? This is going to be very tight-knit, and he's going to have to cancel. Wow. Is able to get it. Hatch is starting to rebuild, but already a success. This is going to delay Destiny's third base for quite a while. Meanwhile, no units lost in terms of the air. Zealots that go down are absolutely fine. Meanwhile, back at home, Sentry already in position with a lot of energy. Force fields are going to be available for him to use. Of course, Zealot also built up just in case. You might want to toss down a force field. Yeah, just in case. Toss it down to second force field this way. Trap some of the Lings. He's going to be able to kill them off as well. Warps in a second. Second Sentry as well. And they're just zapping those poor Lings down. Alright, as we check back on this side of the map right now, Overlord's falling apart. Spore crawlers are spread out and positioned really well. I actually like this. Some Zergs just, you know, like to put one spore down. Some of them position them a little bit closer across the mineral lines. I think this way, with the far wide of the gas, this keeps a lot of the important drones, because usually if they put only one Overlord, or I mean, no, sorry, not one Overlord, they keep one spore crawler inside the mineral line, or if they kind of spread them out a little bit closer to the mineral line, the two of them, the gas drones are still very vulnerable. This way, if the Phoenixes do fly over or attempt to snipe down some of these drones, they will get caught. There's no real easy way around it. Now Destiny, meanwhile, over here, he's going to be doing a little bit of harassment, going to be attacking at this base, going to force the cancel from Bails. Good play right there from Destiny. Kind of paying back his opponent for forcing the cancel on his own third base now. Unfortunately, not able to have enough Lings to take down that probe, so Bails is going to be able to reconstruct that third base right away. Now, I'm interested to see what kind of a wall Bails puts up, and this is one of those things that always intrigues me, some of the SimCity and the micromanagement that players do. How do they build a wall? Which way do they prefer? I've seen Protoss players that wall right through here. I've seen Protoss players wall through here and leave this crease open. Some have come across right through into the gas on the shorter end. So at this point, with how it's placed, I see this being a little bit closer of a wall through the gas. Meanwhile, third base is up and running for Destiny. 5th, 5th, and 6th gas are finishing up as well, so he's going to be able to continue that heavy gas production. Funny that we were talking about Ling Bane Muta, we're seeing some Hydralisks actually out on this map. And in ZVP play, that's formidable. Protoss have very high DPS. There's a lot of things that you got to worry about as a Zerg player in terms of dealing with anti-air units. You got Oracles, you got Void Rays, you got Phoenixes, Warp Prisms, you know, as long as you have some support, kind of a little bit of a meat shield, whether it's Lings or some Roaches, they actually do a pretty damn good job versus Stalkers as well. One-on-one, not so often unless they have an upgrade advantage. Hive is already finished up right now for Destiny, so going really quick with the Hive tech. Not one of those things that you see get up and running too quickly these days. Some Zergs definitely prefer to stay on lair quite a bit longer, just to get, you know, more tech and more of their economy spent on actual units and production and upgrades versus actual that tier 3 tech path. Though we do have Vipers getting constructed, and with the Vipers, man, those things can be dangerous in so many forms. If you're really good at microing them, it's one of those things that I'm personally not comfortable with still to this point, is actually using Vipers and microing them, because I feel like every time I float up, I'm going to miss snag, or I'm going to get them shot down before I'm able to actually get a cast off on them. But with the Protoss army, there's definitely a lot of things that you could snipe out and snag out of the way, including, of course, Colossus and Mothership Core. If you had Void Rays, that would be another one of those units. You typically don't, usually build Vipers just to be able to grab, say, like Zealots or Sentries or anything like that. But as you can see right now, with just the Viper numbers, he's going to have at least an opportunity to be able to snipe down all the Colossus, the Mothership Core, or some form of maybe Void Ray combination there as well. Now, at this point, Destiny does have to be thinking a little bit about grabbing a 4th base, because if you stay 3 base to 3 base versus a Protoss player for quite a while, you are going to suffer, you are going to get punished for it. And on a map like this, where some of these like little cliffs and edges lead up into these 3rd bases, it's going to be very important to be very aware of the map and make sure you actually have a formidable army to be able to actually deal with this. Phoenixes, actually those are hallucinated Phoenixes flying through, checking out what's going on. Do we have any real Phoenixes? No, but we do have a War Prism here at the natural. Zealots should be able to spot that Viking count, and not the Viking count, but the Viper count. But you could already see the Vipers becoming a handful. I mean, not even a handful, but they're getting some use out of them. He's getting some use out of them. Snipes down that War Prism, snags it out of the way. 4 Colossus, 2 Void Rays, Mothership Core. We have a lot of sentries bobbling, and Zealots as well under the feet of those Colossus. Still, those original Phoenixes are alive. Looks like he only managed to lose one during that entire time. Bails starting to position some forward pylons. Does he want to grab a 4th base? Now, this is the interesting part, is do you let a Zerg player just kind of push through you and try to maybe snipe you down, or do you attempt to, take a 4th base? What are you going to do here? But here we go. We do have already the first snag underway. Good catch right there. Second catch. Colossus are going down left and right, and all the Colossus should technically fall with focus fire, and they do indeed. Destiny getting himself into a great engagement. Even it manages to snag the War Prism out of the way in the back. Void Ray is the only next gas-heavy important unit that's alive right now, but you could see Destiny breaking through. Great micro right there. That was just magnificent. Starting to slowly poke his way down up into the natural. Sorry, up into the natural, not down, up into the natural. But Immortal goes down as well. Phoenixes are still alive, but there are a lot of Hydras left. We'll see if he focuses down those Phoenixes just to get him out of the damn game. Looks like he had his sights on the Void Ray first beforehand. The sentries all fall. Now there's just Blink Stalkers left on the Phoenixes. The Phoenixes all fall apart, and now it is just the Stalkers all by themselves, completely naked, no support. You're going to need to have some magnificent micro to be able to actually figure out a way to win this one. Destiny's starting to stream units across the map, and you can see those reinforcements becoming a little bit too hard. And this is what I was talking about. When you have the roaches, helping out against the Blink Stalkers, you really can do quite a bit of damage to them. You can just see the Stalkers are starting to fall apart little by little. Roaches on the right side are getting cleared out though, so this is a little bit more of a straight up engagement in terms of those units. Destiny going to be bringing some of those units back right now. A lot of damage was done in terms of unit versus unit. Very cost-efficient trade, I want to say, for him in that regards, or if not cost-efficient, at least very even. I do see it as cost-efficient, though, when you take a look at it. 4 Colossus were sniped, an Immortal was killed, 3 Void Rays go down, all Phoenixes were lost, and a Mothership Core, along with the War Prism and behind everything. So when you take a look at the stat track of like just doing the mental math of how many units and what you just killed off, and plus all those sentries that were bobbling under the feet, that is a lot of value that he lost. And what did he trade it for the most part? Roaches and Hydras. Roaches don't cost really too much, or aren't really it's one of those units that usually could take you to your grave. And just with Vipers, Roaches, and Hydras, managed to find himself in a really good position. Now Destiny is positioning once again for another attack right now. There is a small pack of Blink Stalkers right there, but they're going to have to be careful how long they plan to stick around. They're going to have to blink back, the sooner the better. But new set of Vipers coming in over here with a lot of energy. What is left to snag out of the way? Really not too much. I mean, you got a couple Colossus and a Mothership Core, so I guess that's going to work out really well for him. One thing that Destiny will have to watch out for in terms of positioning, there are 3 High Templars, so he's got to watch out to not get those Vipers feedback. We'll have to really keep a close eye on those. And you can see that he wants to come up and try to snag those damn things, but if he gets anywhere near them, he will die. One Templar goes down, second Templar goes down, focuses down all three Templars, and now the Colossus are naked, snags them in. Focus fire is at the utmost importance. One Colossus goes down, second one is under fire. The Zealots are falling. He still has so much energy if he wanted to snag anything else that he really truly wanted to. Robo is not going to be able to produce any more units. The pylon is deactivating the Robo. It's gone. And now we have units starting to slowly stream into the third base once again, and he did utilize the energy to throw down a blinding cloud. I'm not sure if that was the best use at the current time and being, but at least for the time being prevented them from kind of walking up peacefully. Now, by killing off this gate, he does find himself in a scenario where he might be able to find a little bit more surface area, but you can see some of that numbers game is starting to come in favor of Bails, clearing out another set of roaches, clearing out another set of hydras. But you got to look at the consequences and see what's going on right now. What does he have left? Once again, he's just left with Blink Stalkers. He's got to repower that Robo up so he could actually produce from it. There's not really much econ left for Bails, though, unfortunately. He's got his main base practically mined out. Natural going to be soon following. Third base is really the only one with fresh econ, but you're looking at 73 Protoss sitting on barely 2 base. Meanwhile, Destiny very comfortably sitting across 2 bases, almost 3 to be exact, and it's not the position you want to find yourself in as a Protoss player. It's very actually hard to find yourself in this type of position. And it's only going to get worse because already creating a full reinforcement, another set of roaches, he's still got a lot of hydras available, and of course with this amount of energy on the Vipers, he can not only just snag a lot of things down, but once again pin his opponent back with some of those blinding clouds. Bails, of course, realizes that his economic deficit would and could be the end of him if he continues on this route, so needs to grab that 4th base, but as he's grabbing that 4th base, Destiny's starting to stream across the map. Maybe he'll get in on some of that SSA action. Or a subterranean SAA. Now, good storms right there from Bails, able to, you know, sprinkle down some of those rainy storm showers on top of the roaches. You can see dropping down into that orange to red HP area. Now, does he have any storms left? No, he does not. He's going to be forming those Templars into Archons. Charge lots are getting in on the roaches. Blinding clouds are getting thrown down, but Bails calls GG. He realizes that he just doesn't have enough might left into his army to be able to defend against this, and Destiny takes game number 1.